Audio Jungle.
Hey guys, how you doing? We are really happy to be here with you guys. Caguamers, ¿cómo están? Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. We're really happy you guys can be here with us. We have a special guest today in our English podcast because we do English. Our parents paid a lot of money for us to go to school in English, so we got to do something about it. We got to use it, not just to watch movies and play video games. So today, as always, my main man, Rick, is here with us, and of course we have one of the guys that I got to know. I got to meet him, I don't know, a few months ago when he had 500 followers. We met through the Nate Hamilton's DMs groups that he has, and right now he has over 6,000 followers. He has a gig at Football Guys. I want to introduce you guys to Mr. Troy King.
What's up, everybody? Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm very excited for your listeners to hear me. I'm excited to talk football with you guys. So yeah, man, I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, pues bienvenidos, Caguamers. Como dijo el Guga, acá está el buen Troy King. Por favor, síganlo at @TKingMode in Twitter. It's a very, very educational follow, and most of all, very entertaining.
Oh, and also join the hashtag FFFitClub. I'm starting that. I'm starting that as well. We don't have access to fancy gyms like you guys have in the States. What we do to lift weights, we lift jugs of water. we carry, yeah, no, that's another thing. Oh, one thing you might have noticed, we call our fans Caguamers, Troy. Caguama, it's a slang for like a 40 ounce.
Oh, so I like that.
They call it the 40 ouncers.
I like that. That's really clever.
So that's that. So Troy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you started in this business, where you are right now, and your plans, all the other podcasts that you participate on regularly.
Sure. Well, I'll try to keep the story shorter, but so I really got into like the fantasy industry last May. So I think quarantine was a really big part of why I'm here today. I don't think I'd be even talking to you guys if it wasn't for that. So during quarantine, I was just finding something to do. I've been playing redraft for years now, probably like 6-7 years or so. I was kind of a casual. And then over like earlier 2020 is when I started playing Dynasty, and then I discovered Fancy Twitter, and then the Scott Fish Bowl. And the Scott Fish Bowl is about to happen again. You know, signups are happening right now, but I've heard a lot of people talking about it. So I'm like, hey, I think I'm pretty good at Dynasty. I want to join. And then through that, I didn't get into the main one. I got into the satellite version of that. And then through that, I just started networking with people, right? So I reached out to people to see who was drafting, who was participating in it, because I was very new. And then I even realized like Fancy Twitter was a thing. I thought it was just like the big names like Yahoo, ESPN. But then I realized there's this whole like sub division of fantasy. So I just started reaching out to people. And then last August, I was just a fan. Last August, I was tweeting, I was interacting a lot. And then Dynasty Happy Hour, Tyler from Dynasty Happy Hour reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be a writer. And then at the time, I wasn't really interested in being a writer. And I actually told my wife, I'm like, yo, this dude wants me to be like a fantasy football writer. And she's like, oh, I think you should do it. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't really want to be a writer. And then she's the one that kind of helped push me over that edge. I'm like, sure, why not? So then people started liking the things I was writing, and then I got invited onto a podcast, and then that got a lot of traction. And then from there, I just started getting more and more invites, and then I've just been guesting since August till now. I'm going to be slowing down a little bit. I feel like I've been guesting on a lot of things. I've just been trying to put my name out there, and also just getting to know people. It's been an amazing experience, just getting to know people, contribute, learn from them, and just growing as a fantasy analyst. Right now, I am with Football Guys. Joe Bryan and the team are amazing. And I have an article out there now. So my first article for Football Guys is about the Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins. So it's like a 2020 recap and a 2021 outlook, as well as you're going to see some video content coming from me within the next couple of weeks. So I'm really excited about that. And lastly, I'm one of the co-hosts of Fantasy Football Confidential. We air on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This Wednesday, we actually have the one and only Scott Fish of the Scott Fish Bowl.
So I'm guessing you got your seat at the Scott Fish Bowl for this year. State.
We'll see. You know, it's not guaranteed. You know, but I've been making jokes with Scott, right? So we're actually, you know, we're cool now. So you know, it's different. Last year, when you know I was just some random dude on Twitter, just discovering Scott Fish Bowl, and now we're actually talking to him, so we'll see. But he's also on the show. He's actually teasing two of the settings, right? Because Scott Fish every year switches the settings up. Yep. So on our show, he's going to be talking about two of the settings. So y'all don't want to miss it. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Definitely be there. We'll definitely be there. I also heard that you are having a project with Dave Klug during the NFL season, right?
Yes. So during the NFL season, we're going to have like a show together. So him and I are probably going to have a show with the Football Guys. So stay tuned for the details about what we're going to be talking about. But we're going to probably start some video content together during this off season. So it's going to start during the off season. It's going to flow into the season where we continue doing stuff together as well.
Awesome. That's awesome, man. I'm really happy for you. I'm proud of you to see how you have grown from being a fan to being a fantasy analyst. It's everybody's dream. Everybody that's in this in the sub level of fantasy Twitter, as you called it, we all want that. A couple of weeks ago, or more than that, you podcasted with the one and only Mr. Matthew Berry, an institution in this. He's one of my idols. I remember texting you, asking you how that happened. I mean, that's amazing, and congratulations for landing the podcast with him as well.
I already talked about backstage about this, but I believe that it's very important to repeat myself. Creating a community of peers that you can elevate all of them. All of us at the same time, and even making a hashtag like FF. What was it? The
Fit Club.
Fit Club, right? That's taking fantasy over the edge, like getting our lives better in every way. So congratulations, man, and very glad to have you here.
No, man, thank you guys so much. And yeah, about FFF Club, if not knowing, so I'll touch on it really quickly. So it's just really about getting people to be active and to work out. And it's a couple of us that kind of inspired it. Me, John Hellcamp, Matthew Betts, Ray GQ, and Jay.
I love Ray. That guy's amazing.
No, Ray's incredible, man. And then just all of us, we kind of help start the movement. It's again, it doesn't matter if you're in shape, doesn't matter if it's your first day. It's just about living better lives, right? Fantasy football is cool, right? But none of that matters if we're unhealthy. And that's what this really it's about. It's not it's not an exclusive club. Anybody could be a part of it. It's just, just living healthier lives. And that's really all that it's about, man. Just one day at a time.
Ya saben, hashtag FF Fit Club.
Es como la versión inglés de las barras y praderas, güey.
Ajá, exactamente. Tómense una foto, súbanla y en una se les contesta Troy. So I just invited everyone to get active and get on the hashtag. And
I understood a little bit of it.
All right. So why don't we get into subject today? We are talking about top 5 players, rookies for the 2021 class. For each of the skill positions. So I'm just gonna start the show. Come on, Troy. I saw you dancing.
No.
Don't lie.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I was proud. That was nice. That was a dope intro. I like that a lot.
It's something to get you moving right before we
get the energy.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm energized now. Thank you.
All right, quarterbacks top 5. Troy, give us your top 5 quarterbacks for this 2021 class.
Sure, of course. So number 1 is gonna not be a surprise to anybody, but it has to be the one and only Trevor Lawrence. He's gonna go to Jacksonville. He's great. I don't have to talk much about him, but he has everything you're looking for in a quarterback in terms of just being accuracy, throwing the ball down the field, leadership, athleticism, everything that you want. The guy has it. He's a champ.
Plus, he's handsome.
Yeah, and he's also handsome, and he has beautiful hair. So it's like, so all those things are the reasons why he's going number 1, no doubt.
Yep.
All right. Number 2, and this dude has been getting disrespected. I don't know why he ever left the number 2 spot, but it has to be Justin Fields, right? Because everybody wants to talk about all these other quarterbacks, right? I don't know why this man getting disrespected. They've been talking about, his worth ethic and all these things. And also last year, he might have had 2 bad games, but overall, he was amazing. And he honestly played better than Trevor Lawrence in the game they went against each other. He looked better than Trevor Lawrence. And I'm not saying he's a better prospect, but in that game, and that was after, he was struggling or whatever. But Justin Fields also almost has everything that you're looking for in a quarterback. He's just not as good as Trevor Lawrence, but he has the athleticism. He has the accuracy. He has the, down the field play. He has the leadership. He has everything you want too. But for some reason, everybody just wants to push him down. And I don't understand why.
It's the hair.
It must be the hair, right? And I don't know what it is, but people want to put all these other quarterbacks who I'm about to talk about in a little bit. But to me, Justin Fields should be the number 2 quarterback off the board. I don't know if that's going to happen, but he's mine. Number 3 is Trey Lance.
Wow.
So Trey Lance, right? And I heard people talk about he could be a project or maybe he's not all the way ready. And some people might want him to be behind a veteran to develop more. But to me, he has so much upside, right? I still am going to keep him behind the other 2 guys, but his athleticism is off the charts. He had 1 million rushing touchdowns in college, and he's dynamic, right? He can throw the ball downfield, big arm, and I believe with the right system, the right coaching, would it be that surprising if he happened to be 2nd in this class? I don't know, but no. I want him in fantasy, right? You want those dual threat quarterbacks, and Trey Lance is going to get you a lot of fantasy points if he has a starting gig.
Yep.
So he's my number 3. All right, number 4 is Zach Wilson, right? And Zach Wilson, to me, I'm everybody wants to put him at 2. I think he's fine. He's not a bad quarterback, but to me, I don't know why people are putting him above these other guys, right? I think he's fine. Shows a little bit of athleticism. He does, similar things in terms of accuracies, decent, throwing the ball downfield, okay. But to me, the other guys are just better. I'm not saying he sucks, but I'm not putting him over the 3 guys that I mentioned. And last but not least, Mac Jones. So Mac Jones rounds out my top. And then people are talking about San Francisco taking him at 3. I still want to know why they would do that, because they didn't have to. To me, they didn't have to move up to 3 if they wanted Mac Jones, right? Sure. They could have waited if that was their dude. Because to me, I think Mac Jones, and he's the one guy out of all these people who isn't athletic, right? People have seen his shirtless pics, and that's fine. You don't always have to be an athletic dude, but that's kind of where the league is going, right? You want a little bit of athleticism to escape the pocket. In Alabama, he had one of the best offensive lines. He had every amazing wide receiver you can possibly have. And running backs. Yeah, Najee Harris. Yeah, Devonta Smith. Yeah, Jalen Waddle. You had everybody that you could possibly want, right? So then, and how much, and we've seen, and then people want to make the Tua comparisons, always better than Tua. I don't know. To me, he's okay, but I just don't understand why you would take him at 3. Those other quarterbacks have way more upside to me. So that's my top 5.
top 5. Rick, you want to go with yours, and then we'll talk about it?
I'm right with Troy. I have them in the same order. I believe that the dual threat quarterback is the way of the future. At least in fantasy, it would be not particularly intelligent to take Zach Wilson over Justin Fields, just
But
because of the.
That's going to happen.
Well, in talking football, maybe there's an argument to be made, but for us, for fantasy guys, no pun intended, we got to get the floor that the mobility guys give you, no?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a little bit different. My top 2 are exactly the same as yours, Troy. Sunshine at number 1 and Justin Fields at number 2. Yeah. And number 3, I got Zach Wilson. I got Zach Wilson at 3, Mac Jones at 4, and Trevor Lance. I have him at 5. And I have him at 5 because I think he's
more of a project, right?
Yeah, that's what I think. He's a diamond in the rough. He's not a quarterback that can impact an offense the first year. The other 4, I think they can. But I think if Trevor Lance goes to a team, let's say maybe Atlanta.
Trey Lance.
I'm sorry, Trey Lance goes to a team like Atlanta where he can sit behind
Matty Ice for 1 year.
Matty Ice for 1 year, 2 years, and learn the ropes. And
that'd be good.
Imagine with the weapons that they have at Atlanta, with Calvin Ridley, maybe still Julio Jones, Russell Gage. I mean, they got a great team out there. So I think that's why I'm ranking him at number 5. Not because I don't like him or I don't trust him. It's just because I don't think he's 100% ready for the starting gig at an NFL team. But I can be wrong, of course. No, we can all be wrong, and we can all see Trevor Lawrence just commits a kamikaze the first year and nothing happens. But that's how I look at things. Like you said, Trevor Lawrence will be the first pick of the NFL draft without a doubt. He has a lot of weapons in Jacksonville. He has DJ Chark. He has Laviska Shenault, which the guy, I love that guy. New wide receiver Marvin Jones, James Robinson. He has a great team, and they're only gonna get better. That's what's gonna happen. So that's why Trevor, he'll probably end up as the rookie quarterback QB1 at the end of the season.
For sure. It kind of makes you feel bad for the mustache, no? For Gardner Minshew.
I love Gardner Minshew.
Man, pictures
it's a 100 lovable guy. I mean, he has style. He's a good player, but damn.
He can wear anything he wants to. It makes it look like. Not many people can do that.
Man, did you see the pictures he uploaded yesterday or today? With a mullet, jean jacket, no shirt.
He kills it. He's the only guy around.
I mean, who the hell wears a mullet right now? And he's killing it.
And don't be surprised if the mullet comes back with a vengeance.
It'll come back. And that mustache, oh my God, makes me want to question
your masculinity.
Okay.
All right, so that's quarterbacks for you guys. Let's go to running backs. Troy, top 5 running backs for this 2021 draft.
Sure. So we mentioned him briefly just now, but it has to be Najee Harris. Najee Harris is my number 1, and I believe that he's one of the guys that I feel like no matter where he goes, he's going to be good, right? I feel like he's that big body back that does everything you want. He's a good pass catcher. For a big guy, he can catch the ball. He's a physical runner. He has good vision, good balance. He's good at blocking. Everything that you want from your starting running back, Najee Harris is to me, right? He's just solid. And I feel like he's one of the dudes that can start from day 1 out of this list. So for me, Najee Harris is easy, right? So that's my number 1. Number 2 is a lot tougher for me, right? So I was toggling between 2 guys. And this could change, right? And I feel like I always go back and forth with these two guys, but ultimately I landed on Travis Etienne. So Travis Etienne, I believe that last year he didn't. I feel like 2 years ago, Travis Etienne, he was like consensus like number one running back. Like and everyone knows him for his speed, right? He's explosive, used with a great offense. Like I feel like he could do almost everything that you want him to do. He has faults here and there, but I don't think they're significant. I just feel that Najee's the overall, I guess, well-rounded back. I think Travis Etienne, I think is going to be fine, but I feel like would be excellent in a system such as like Arizona, for example, right? Like I feel like landing spot would affect slightly him more versus Najee, right? But I'd be like if he goes like Arizona, then he could kind of pull like what a CH did last year and like vault up to RB1, because assuming that he would be the RB1 in the offense. So Travis Etienne,
as long as he doesn't let us down at CEH. That's
cool. So I can talk to you about CAs later, but I have a take about it. But yeah, he obviously CH had very high expectations. But
that's the thing. We had very high expectations of him. He didn't have a bad season. We just had tremendous expectations for him.
Exactly.
Keep going.
Oh no. Everything you said is accurate. That could happen with Travis Etienne, right? Is number 3. So number 3 could easily be number 2. Is that Javonte Williams? Javonte Williams. The main thing I remember about him was I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan, right? And Javonte killed us, right? North Carolina, him and Michael Carter. But Javonte Williams, to me, he's very similar to Najee in terms of like just a big body back. And I believe that he could fit in multiple schemes. He's most likely going to go like early second round. So I feel like any team, like, he could go to like a Steelers, or I don't know what their draft thing is, but he's that type of back that he's also, he has acceleration. He has the things that you're looking for in a back as well. So Javonte, number 3. 4, Kenneth Gainwell. So Kenneth Gainwell, to me, is the pass catching, right? He might be the best pass catching back in the class. Like, I don't think that's that crazy, but just watching his tape, and he has a little bit of burst, a little bit of wiggle, but his pass catching, like, he could be used in different places on the field. So that to me was kind of like the ultimate reason why I would want him. And finally, Jamar Jefferson, right? And Jamar Jefferson is just big play. Like literally, like almost if he gets just a little bit of space, he's gone. And I think that's, to me, I feel like he's not being talked about enough. Like just watching him, like he just had so many explosive plays that it was hard for me to ignore him. So that's the reason why I put him at 5.
I have him a little bit different than you, but Rick,
I like that though.
Rick, come on, top 5.
Man, we're like the same. No, I have the only difference is I have Chuck Hubbard.
Next time you start, let's see.
I know.
The same.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell my 5 so you don't think I'm just copycatting Troy. I have a number 5 Chuba Hubbard, but man, it's so difficult to rank these running backs before the draft. Draft capital is very important for me in terms of drafting in rookie dynasty drafts. So yes, I believe whoever takes Najee Harris, or no, Najee, right? Najee, that team is gonna have to pay up. So they're gonna give him some playing time. I believe that's the reason he's consensus number 1. Also, Travis Etienne and Kenny Gainwell, I like them very much for their versatility and pass catching ability. And that's that, man. How about you?
Well, I got them a little bit different, and this might surprise Troy and our listeners. But as Rick knows, I like to be the one that goes against the grain, against the
I like that though.
So number 1, I got Javonte Williams at number 1.
Wow. Okay.
I got him at number 1. I like him a lot. 5'9", 212, 457 dash, unofficial, of course, at the pro day. But I like him a lot. I think he has the the capability, the abilities to be RB1 rookie this year. Of course, like Rick just said, draft capital is very important. If he gets drafted by a team, let's say if he gets drafted by, it's not going to happen, but if he gets drafted by the Ravens, he's going to get lost with a 200 running backs and that Baltimore has. So, I got Javonte at number 1. Number 2, I got Travis Etienne. So I love that guy. I absolutely love that guy. I love how he performed during the season. Like you said, he's one of the few players that can say that they were 3 years their starter at the college team, and very successful 3 years for him. Number 3, I got Najee Harris. And one of the things, and this might be a little bit biased, but one of the things that pushed him down a little bit on my rankings is that he decided, or he didn't test during pro day. I know that there was a story running that he missed the plane, that he had to drive all night to be there with his teammates and support. But I don't know. Sometimes for some reason it felt like he didn't want to get exposed. He didn't want to make a mistake and, something that'll affect him in the pocket, in his bank account. Because as we all know, the higher you get drafted, the bigger the contract is. Mm-hmm. So it's different if you get drafted in the top 10 than at the end of the first round. I mean, you're still a first rounder, but the contract's not the same. Number 4, and I'll talk a little bit more about that situation once we get to the wide receiver top 5. I know you guys will think I'm crazy. I am crazy. That's for sure. But just hear me out. Number 4, I'm there with you with Mr. Kenneth Gainwell from Memphis. I like that guy. He's a satellite back, 100%. He can run. He can do pass catching. He can block. Amazing guy. If he was, I don't know, maybe a little bit heavier, he could jump from the satellite back role to the workhorse role. But I like him a lot. And number 5, Chuba Hubbard from Oklahoma State. And this, I might, put Jamar Jefferson here. Chuba and Jefferson for me are like right there. If this was a tier system, they'll be on the same tier. Yeah. Without a doubt. I really like Chuba, 436 dash and this pro day, 6 feet, 210 pounds. He's just a mean machine, ready to pound and ground and give you those fantasy points. Well, let's hope that all these guys that we just talked about 7 running backs that we just talked about right now, that they land on a team that used them properly, because then we like we just said, if one of these running backs lands in the Ravens, well shit,
no, we don't want that.
You don't want that,
Don't mess with Dobby, man.
No.
Leave him be.
I mean, I love Dobbins. I love
Dobbins.
I love Dobbins. So don't. And my tocayo Gus Edwards.
I like Gus Edwards too.
Yeah, I like him too. So those 2 guys are fine there. They don't need anymore. Don't draft. Ravens do not draft any more running backs, especially the top ones. You don't need them.
I don't see them. I hope they don't. I don't see them doing it unless it's super late in the draft, like 6th, 7th round or something.
Yeah. Maybe something like that.
Do you guys believe that any of these running backs would go in the first round of the NFL draft?
No, I think Najee will, because there's been speculation that the Dolphins could take him at 18. And I'm a Dolphins fan for those who don't know. So, there's been speculation either that or he's going to go late in the first, because I think it's going to be like Najee late first round. I think like people like Etienne, Javonte, I think they're going to go early second. That's what I'm predicting. Obviously, I could be wrong, but that's what I'm assuming.
I think I agree with you there, Troy. I think Najee will be the first running back off the board, and I think that someone is going to trade up draft day
to number 32 or something
to pick up Najee at some point in the draft. I don't know. It just
if he goes to the Dolphins, so we forget about Miles Gaskins and Salvon Ahmed.
So I think Ahmed definitely. Gaskin, I believe he's going to have a role, right? I don't want to be disrespectful to him. He's a 7th round pick who just killed it last year, right? Like everything he asked him to do, he did. The only tiny struggle he had was probably goal line because he's not a bigger back. He's like a little bit under 200 pounds. So he's not really built like a workhorse, but he did fine. And he was a great pass catcher. He was explosive. He did everything the Dolphins wanted him to do. So to me, he's still going to have a role. So even if they get Najee, I believe they kind of have like a thunder lightning thing going on, right? So like Najee's like the bigger, stronger, power back kind of guy. And then Gaskin's like, the 3rd down pass catching back that they use. So I think they would kind of use both of them but I just feel like Gaskins, to me, my personal opinion, he isn't built to be just like a workhorse running back who's going to get like 20 to 25 touches a game. I don't think that's sustainable for like the whole season. And, he got injured last year.
Yeah.
So I think that might be part of it. And I think it'd be better if, I had a little bit of work off of him by having like a bigger body back like Najee.
All right.
Yeah, I remember Gaskin, as you can see, I'm a Raiders fan. I remember that the Dolphins-Raiders game where Gaskin scored that long touchdown. With
beautiful.
And it was kind of those sweet and sour moments because in my second most important league, the one that there's the most money involved from all the leagues that I play in, I had Gaskin, and I believe that's that was in the semifinal, that game, and that with that score, I was 100% sure I was going to make it to the championship. But at the same time, it was killing my Raiders. It was killing them. It was one of those moments that I don't know if I should be happy or sad, cry, or screaming joy. I don't know. That's one of
that's a fantasy lifestyle.
That's a fantasy lifestyle. Yeah, fantasy lifestyle. And so, lately, with my Raiders not having more than one or two players fantasy relevant besides Waller and Jacobs, it's been tough because you can't really draft a lot of guys from there.
So Troy, how many leagues are you in?
I'm actually not in that many dynasty leagues. I'm probably in I would say 7 or 8 now. So I try to keep my dynasty leagues low, right? Because in redraft, I'll probably be in most likely probably between 4 or 5. Because for me, I know some people who are in a bunch of dynasties. I know people between 30 and 50 dynasty leagues. I'm I can't do that, right? Because I already have a hard, I'm a busy dude, so I already have a hard time dealing with the leagues I'm in now. So I'm trying to keep my dynasty leagues under 10 because I want to make sure if I'm playing in something, I'm competitive, right? I want to win. So I don't want to have too many where I start neglecting and then I'm just kind of wasting money. So I just try to keep it small as possible.
Yeah, we have a friend who last year he was in 50 leagues.
Yeah, I have friends like that too. I met way too many people who are in leagues like that. And people have spreadsheets, right, for all their leagues, and they have color-coded systems. I'm man, that's too much. It can be lucrative. If you win most of those leagues, then yeah, you can make that a side business, right? That could be your job if you're very successful.
But that's what DFS is for. If you want to do that, just go ahead and do DFS.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I'm sorry, it's too stressful.
You play DFS?
Yeah, I played a lot last year. I mean, last year was probably the most I got into it. And I had some decent weeks. Some weeks, I obviously missed. That's a tricky game, man. I don't invest that much though, right? I only throw in $20 a week or something.
There's real professionals playing DFS.
Oh yeah, I'm not one of those guys. Yeah, I met some who would make some bank off of it, but. Again, you have to know what you're doing to invest some of the money because you have to be willing to lose a lot of money to make a lot of money if you're one of those high rollers.
Yep. Yeah. I love DFS. Sadly, we don't have DFS in Mexico yet. Hopefully, we have props, right? We started to have props. We started to have props. Awesome. But hopefully DFS will come to Mexico soon, either with FanDuel, DraftKings, or any other platforms that we have in Mexico.
There's always VPN, man.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. The problem is the difference between spending $20 and spending 20 pesos. That's the whole.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. All right. So that wraps it up for the running backs. Now let's go to what I think is going to be the most
Controversial
I think so
category
too.
here. So let's start with Troy, our guest. Wide receivers, top 5. Let's go.
Okay, I think this one was. I think my list is kind of chalky, but except for maybe like the last 2, but I'll go. So number 1, it was close, but I ultimately went Chase, right? Because Chase, especially after his pro day, man, he just absolutely destroyed it. And we already knew he was good. And for pro days, I don't put too much stock into pro days, but if someone explodes from their pro day, I'm going to notice that, right? So, and with his 4.3, and I'm like, oh, everything he did, he was incredible. And then obviously at LSU last year, he didn't do anything. But the year before, obviously, he was incredible. It's just, and people are talking about, like, I think people are hyping him up a little bit as like an all-time prospect. Some people are kind of getting a little crazy. To me, I think he's an excellent prospect. I think no matter where he goes, he's going to be amazing. But I think Chase, number 1. Number 2, Devonta Smith, right? And then people could tell me all about his BMI. He's too skinny. He's too that. But I'm sorry. He's a Heisman winner. He had an amazing, like, people just try to find things to just knock dudes, right? And like, and don't get me wrong. Like, obviously you want your receiver to be big and strong. We all would like that, right? But to me, that's not going to make him suck as an NFL player, right? He'll get bigger, he'll get stronger. I don't know how much, but it doesn't matter, right? He could play. Can he play the game? Yes or no, right? I don't give a damn what he weighs. If he could play football and he's one of the best receivers, you can make an argument for him to be number 1 if you really wanted to. But to me, he's my number 2. And I'm just fading all that BMI stuff, right? Can he play? Yes or no? That's what I care about. Then number 3, Jalen Waddle, right? And then, people I think are, a little bit different about that, but there's some Tyreek Hill comps, but to me, he's just so explosive, right? Like, you just got to get the ball in his hand, and this man, he just off. Like, he's so dynamic, so elusive, so electric. Like, that's the type of playmaker that any team could benefit from, right? Get this dude in space. He's gone. He opens up the whole offense. That's one of the reasons I really like Jalen Waddle. Number 4. So this was tough, but I'll say it has to be Bateman, right? So Rashad Bateman, big body receiver. I actually have him. I did a mock draft, right? I think like a team such as the Ravens, since we were talking about him a lot, right? I think the Ravens need someone like him, a bigger body receiver. He's not like super blazing fast, but he doesn't need to be. He's just a big body possession receiver that could go up and get the ball. A lot of teams could benefit from that, right? So to me, Rashad Bateman is one of those dudes that would fit that role with any team. So that's one of the reasons I really like him. And lastly is going to be I consider this dude my guy out of the receivers, Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore, yes, he's 5'7". I know he's a little guy, but he's not like most little guys. He is strong, right? We've seen his bench. We've seen how powerful he is. This man could probably play running back, right? Just that's how powerful he is. And I believe, you have to get him in the right system, and you have to utilize him in a specific way. And he's not going to go to this team, but if he can somehow land in a scheme similar to like the way San Francisco uses their wide receivers. Like I'm not like a comp guy, but to me, he reminds me a lot of Debo, right? So in terms of the way that they use Debo in San Francisco, if you use Rondale Moore in the same role, I believe he would absolutely crush it. Or he could possibly go to the Chiefs. Like in that offense, he might not get a lot of volume, but I believe with his touches, he'd be effective, right? You can use him in some of those same designs that you use Tyreek Hill in. Like that's not that can be that crazy. So it is landing specific with Rondale Moore just because, again, a lot of people use the argument you don't see a lot of little guys make an impact besides Cole Beasley, but he's not just your average little guy, right? He's big. He's this powerful little guy that can be used in different ways. So, yeah, those are my top receivers.
All right. Ricky Canallín.
Los mismos. The same.
Okay, yeah, whatever choice it.
Yeah, you gotta go with Jamar Chase in number one. His pro day was off the charts. The whole athletic profile is speaking to you, alpha. Go get him, and perhaps he's 101 in rookie draft for me. If you put aside in Superflex Dynasty leagues, I would take him in 101.
101, you'll take him at 101?
Maybe, yeah. I believe that's what I'll do. I think the athleticism is team proof, right? And even with the way the draft is shaping up, he can land in a very good spot. So Jamar Chase in one, Devonta Smith number two, Rashad Bateman number three, Rondell Moore at four, and Waddle at number five.
All right, this is gonna be fun because I have them absolutely different than this. Like you said, this is gonna be the one we have the most differences because Rick only had number 1 and 2 with you, but I only have one.
Wow. Okay.
I only have one with you. So number 1 is Jamar Chase, hands down, best wide receiver prospect in this class. There's no doubt about it. Number 2, Shotty B, Mr. Rashad Bateman. I got him at number 2. I like him a lot. He's my favorite receiver. Like you say, he's my guy. I like him on this class. He's going to be the one that I'm going to be targeting in my dynasty leagues and some of my deeper redraft leagues.
Bateman, no matter what.
Bateman, no matter what. Exactly. That's my Vontae. He's my Vontae. Number three, Rondell Moore. Also, amazing receiver. 4'29", 40 dash, 5 feet 7 inches. Little guy, strong, with a lot of energy. He wants to make it. I was reading about him the other day when they asked him about his work ethic, and he says, "Yeah, it comes from his mom," and that thing is it just tells you he's not going to lose ground once he gets that paycheck. He's going to be a better player. He's going to be a good son. He's going to be a good brother to his brothers, a good brother to his sisters. He's going to be a good family member, a good member of the community. He's going to be playing ball because he has a chance to do it, and I like him. I like him because of that. Number 4, Mr. Devonta Smith. And one of the reasons that that I mentioned the fact that Najee didn't perform at the pro day. Same thing with Devonta Smith. And Rick and I talked about it in our regular podcast, which aired today, actually. I think Devonta Smith was, dealing with the whole thing that you just mentioned with the BMI. What I think, he didn't even want to get weighed or measured in any way. He didn't want to test. I think he hid behind the
Heisman.
The Heisman. I think that's what he did. I think he said,
"Hey, he earned
the." Oh, smart. I mean, look, he made the right decision to not to like weigh in and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's 2 points of view, and so this is the point of view of the let's say the football analyst. This guy is afraid. He doesn't want to mess up. He wants to hide behind his Heisman. He wants to hide behind the hardware. Hey, Roll Tide, national champions. I'm the Heisman. Like 2 billion yards, a bunch of TDs and everything. What else do I need to show you guys? And then for us as analysts, or at least as fans, we're like, we wanna see you. We want to see what you can do. We how fast, like Rick and I were talking about, how fast is Devonta Smith? Well, I don't know. He's pretty fast, but I don't know how fast he is compared to the other guys.
Yeah.
How tall is he? Well, I don't know. He's kind of tall, I guess, but he's not that. He's not that heavy. He's kind of on the leaner side. And we want to compare him. But if you're in Devonta's shoes, of course you want to hide behind the Heisman and the hardware. You know, I don't want to mess up with my stock.
With your bank account.
Yeah, I don't want to mess up.
It was an intelligent thing to do.
Yeah, if you were in that position, if I was in that position, I would be doing the same thing. I'd be like, you know what?
I don't need to prove anything.
Yeah, this is right. I need to prove shit. I'm sorry, and just draft me top 10 because that's what most likely is gonna happen. You know, but my position is I'm gonna rank him number 4. And number 5, this might be a surprise, but I got Mr. Terrace Marshall at number 5 from LSU.
I actually don't mind that at all, to be honest.
I like him a lot. I like him better than Waddle.
I mean, he's a big body. He's a big body receiver too. So I'm like, he's like 6'3" or something like that. So
6'2", he's 6'2", 205.
Yeah, so I like him as well, man. So like, I like that pick. If I was, I don't mind him. I don't mind your list. Like, it's different than mine, but I definitely respect it.
Rick, any comments with my Devonta Smith? I know you love him. I know you think about him every night.
I think Devonta is gonna make an immediate impact in the NFL. He's gonna make us a lot of fantasy points. You know,
one of the things that I'm very concerned about Devonta Smith, that one of the landing spots that is very possible for him, it's number 12 with the Eagles. If that happens, then goodbye, Devonta Smith.
Totally agree. I wouldn't like that, but we'll have to see.
Well, so, what would be? Hang on. Troy, what would be your perfect landing spot? I'm just going to ask you for 2, which are the most talked about wide receivers here: Jamar Chase and Devonta Smith. Don't forget about draft capital. Forget about all that. What will be which team do you think Jamar Chase and Devonta Smith would perform the best out of all the 32 teams?
I will say who. This is a really good question. The Chase one, the team, and it's funny, I've been having this argument with Bengals fans, right, about who they should choose between Sewell or Chase. But to me, if Chase goes to the Bengals, I think that's one that makes sense draft-wise, as well as that offense, right? So you have Joe Burrow, who's, obviously he had a great season last year. All they couldn't run the ball, so all they did was pass. So if you got Chase, you reunite him with Chase, you have T. Higgins. Like, to me, that is the best one, because obviously you already have that chemistry, right, from LSU days. So when I think of the best place for Chase, why not with the guy that you balled out with in college? So that's for Chase. And Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith one is tough, right? I would say that I would have to be just an explosive offense, right? Somehow if he was able to go to the Packers, as like the number 2 guy with Devontae Adams, like just ignoring everything else, that'd be cool. They've been needing a number 2 receiver for God knows how long. So I'll say the Packers.
All right.
I like it very much.
I like it.
And talking about the Penei Sewell and Jamar Chase conundrum, I would take Jamar Chase. You got the other. I forgot his name. The left tackle that got injured.
Jonah Williams or something like that. Yeah.
So you get him back, and if you get Penei Sewell, so who you getting to the right side? That would be a problem right at the gate. So. Jamar Chase for me.
Well, yeah, that I like that. I think, the Bengals played a lot 3 wide receiver sets last year. AJ Green's no longer there, so they need a 3rd guy. Right now, it's Auden Tate. It's not gonna happen. Yeah. It'll be a different guy. I'm sure of that. Well, tight ends, Troy. Tight ends top 5. Let's go.
Sure, I would say so. Tight ends was probably. There's not much to choose from outside with the tight ends, right? So this is the only one where, the list was pretty straightforward to me. So Pitts, you guys already know how amazing Pitts is. He's one of the best tight end prospects of all time. So Pitts, he's pretty much a tight end and a wide receiver. His testing was amazing. I don't have to talk too much about him, but he's number 1. My number 2 is Freiermuth, right? Yep. And Fryermuth to me is one of those dudes where he's great route runner, good hands, strong. He's pretty much everything you want in a tight end. He's had injury history, which is the only, I guess, concern. But besides that, Fryermuth is the type of tight end where I don't know how he's going to be. I don't think he's like Pitts where like he's going to make a huge impact, year one. And most tight ends don't make a huge impact year one. But I believe that he's extremely talented, and he's one of those tight ends that you probably want to put on your taxi squad if you have one, and could maybe be a thing within the next 2 to 3 years. My number 3 guy is my dude, because I'm a UM fan, Brevin Jordan. He didn't have a good pro day. His numbers were extremely disappointing. A lot of people know about it. They expected him to. I saw someone told me today, like I made some tweet about it, and they're like, oh, they expect him to be kind of like a Jonnu Smith, right? And then if you watch him on the field, his numbers didn't translate. And this is one of the reasons why pro days, I'm like, all right, like I think about it, but I'm not going to completely fade him because I'm like, I saw what he did on the field with UM. He looked athletic. He looked dynamic. And he, to me, definitely one of the top tight ends in this class. So for me, he's number 3 because of that. Number 4, Hunter Long. So I would say that Hunter Long, I didn't spend too much time like studying him or researching him, but from what I've like the little that I've watched of him and like the research that I have done, he seems like he would be a good, I guess more of like a project, right? He might need some development, but wherever he goes, he could be something solid. But I think number 4 is a fair ranking for him. And Trey McKitty, kind of the same deal in terms of athletic tight end, needs a lot of development. I'm not really interested, honestly, in anyone after 3, but like in terms of just to round off the top 5, I mean, I was just looking for what you need in a tight end, right? You're looking for an athletic kind of pass catching mold. That's what we want in a tight end. So that rounds up my top 5.
All right, Rick,
for sure.
Is it the same as Troy again?
No, I got a surprise for you. Number 1,
Kyle Pitts is number
4. It's Kyle Pitts, and number 5 we got Pat what was it? Fairmouth?
Fairmouth. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but I think it's Fairmouth.
Está cabrón. There's an argument to be made that Kyle Pitts could go also in the 101 in rookie drafts. If you land that pick and he gets to the top 3 for 10 years for you, for 5 years for you in your dynasty team, it's totally worth it. The difference he can make between his production and the other 10 other guys battling for a top 12 finish in tight end, it could be abysmal. So that's that. And as Troy said, I'm not that very interested in drafting tight ends with my 3rd or 4th round pick. You just have to take what you can in waivers, and hopefully you can wait and see if they can develop. No, so that's a very difficult position in football. They have to learn how to run routes. They're like 3 positions in one. So you have to be patient with them.
Well, I got my top 5. It's pretty much the same as Troy. I know he copied my show sheet. So, no, I'm just playing. Number 1, Kyle Pitts, of course. I don't know anybody who has different.
Nobody.
Nobody. I mean, I've seen wide receiver rankings with Kyle Pitts at 1. That's how nasty it is. Number 2, Pat Freiermuth. Pat Freiermuth. I've heard his last name pronounced like 7 different ways. I don't know how.
And those are the kinds of words that us Spanish Latin speakers we have a lot of problems.
Like
right?
Goddard. Goddard. Number 3, same thing. Brevin Jordan from Miami. I like him. I like Pat a little better, but Brevin Jordan's also good. 4, Hunter Long, same thing from Boston College. I like him. But number 5, I think, and this guy I might be taking him in waivers. I'm not going to take him on one of my picks, but I'll take him in waivers and put him in my taxi squad. Is Quentin Morris from Bowling Green. I think this guy can be one of those guys in 2 or 3 years. You can really see something, depending, of course, in landing spot. Something like I see that it could happen something close to what happened to Janu, where the first couple of years he was kind of like
in the shadows of
exactly.
Delaney.
Exactly, and as soon as he got the chance, he was just balling out. Just so you know, Troy, Janu, we actually built a church for Janu here in our podcast. We think Janu is the way. We hyped him all last season. We said, hey, with your last pick in the draft, go for Janu.
I love Janu. Yeah.
And it worked out pretty well for us. He ended up.
He let us down in the latter half of the season, but we have a lot of fun in the first weeks.
He was top 12 at the end of the season. So I mean, that's what you want. You want top 12 tight end for your team, either be redraft or dynasty. Well, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot for being here with us. This was our top 5 skill positions. Special podcast with Mr. Troy King. Troy, real quick, where can they find you in Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tinder? I don't know where else you are. Oh boy, OnlyFans.
You just said he was married, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, not Tinder. But not Tinder, or maybe on.
Just kidding.
No Tinder, no OnlyFans. Sorry, my wife's sleeping, but I'm just. But no, you guys can find me at TKing Mode on Twitter. That's probably my home base. I'm trying to transition more into TikTok, try to do things there. I know that's like the poppin' app, so I'm trying to do there. Instagram, you can find me. I don't really do too much fantasy on Instagram, but I'd say if you really want to keep up with my content, follow me on Twitter. And again, guys, thank you so much for having me, inviting me. This has been a blast. I had such a good time. And shout out to everybody. Make sure you subscribe to the Fantasy Football Confidential YouTube page and just follow me and the crew. And again, thank you guys, everyone who's been supporting me and who's going to support me in the future.
Well, it's an honor for us, Troy. You're kind of like a role model for going from 500 followers, or like you said last year, not even knowing fantasy Twitter existed. A year later, you have a gig with fantasy with the football guys. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you so much, man. It really means a lot. I mean, again, we're just trying to get started. This is just the beginning, and I'm glad that you feel that way, and I'm just trying to do what I can to, not just for me, but to help support others, to help grow, and especially pods with great content like yourselves. Like, you guys definitely deserve more love, and I'm going to do what I can to, help you guys out as well.
Thanks a lot, Troy. Thanks a lot. You can find me at Guga Gecko on Twitter and Guga Gecko NFL on Instagram, and you can find Nacion Fantasy like that. Nacion Fantasy on Facebook, Nacion.fantasymx at Instagram. The YouTube channel is Nacion Fantasy, and in Twitter, Nacion Fantasy MX, just one word. Thanks a lot, guys, for being here with us. Troy, again, it was an honor for us to have you here in the pod, and we hope to have you here again during the season. What do you say?
No, we'll definitely make it happen, man, for sure.
All right. Thanks a lot, and have a great day, guys.